Hello there, my fellow weary travelers. Andre Dion Moore, your dark nerd rises. I'm back again, and I'm gonna do a new video here. It's gonna be something that I've always been interested in, and that's the history of sound in film. Now we know about 1927 with the dawn of talkies, as what they called them back then, with the jazz singer, and plus in 1925, an attempt at synchronized sound with Don Juan, starring. Dang it, my brain just went dead on me. I apologize, but I want to say Lionel Barrymore. I know it's not Lionel Barrymore, but dang it, dang, what is his name? Crap, and watch it come to me, as soon as I end this little filming thing and all that. But it was one of the earliest films to synchronize music and with the full orchestra back at that time. But there have been other attempts for at film, way before that, even going back to the early inventions of the film, with Thomas Edison. And that is what we're going to touch on next with a film that he did that actually was a surprise, to that this it still existed because many thought some of those films were lost in a fire. So, folks, we're gonna sit there and watch the film, and hopefully, the name of the silent star is coming. I don't know why I'm thinking Lon Chaney. It is not Lon Chaney. Good grief! Dang it! It's on the tip of my brain. What was his name? Crap! Dang it! Douglas Fairbanks. Yeah, Douglas Fairbanks. Okay, folks, get ready, get set, and let's learn a little bit of history, and then we'll watch the entire film. Here we go. Now, the movie that you see behind me here is called Jack's Joke, and it debuted in 1913 under the Edison Film Company at that time. Now, this is something that's revolutionary because, again, as I stated in my opening, that there were attempts at putting sound in film going all the way back, I believe, to like the 1890s. I think 1895, where there was like an attempt where a violin was playing. It was at the Edison Black Maria studio, and there was a big cylinder that was there trying to record it, and you could, even if with the technology we have today, it was hard to synchronize that sound with the rhythm of the violin players and so forth. But it was an interesting attempt, and there were so many other attempts. And there was one film I remember seeing on a special years ago, from 1905 or something. I might be wrong, but it was so perfect and clear. It sounded like the guy was talking from, and this was back in 1980 something when I saw this. So it was like it was something that came out at that time that even now could match for today. But going into this, we're going to look at something that was the device that helped try to help synchronize film, or do film attempts at that time. Now, before that, like there were other attempts, and this was one of them. There was one that was for a vacuum cleaner, like a little short for to sell a vacuum cleaner, an early vacuum cleaner commercial, if you will. If I find that, I'll post that in the link, or just share something like that with you. But also, there was something that I know that's something that I grew up with learning, and that was when a group called the International Bible Students Association, now known as Jehovah's Witnesses, and this isn't a religion thing or nothing, but it is impressive that they created a film called The Photodrama of Creation, and it's recognized in the Library of Congress as one of the earliest attempts at talking pictures. And it's where they would synchronize the film with the record player in the back, and you would hear at that time their leader, Pastor Charles Russell. And I should know this. I was fascinated with that ever since I was a kid. But those were one of the early attempts, and this one here is a treasure because it's amazing at how the quality still sounds even at that time. And there's a story behind it, so let's take a look at the story right quick. 1936, the film was shown as part of as part of an exhibition. Sorry, I have a crappy phone, folks, so I apologize. As an exhibition of Edison's kinetophone equipment and exhibition materials at the New York Museum of Science and Industry in the RCA building in New York. Now, when this film, debuted, it was actually described as the first talking picture made, and it's probably one of the earliest straight comedy films. And so maybe all of the comic characters of Hollywood's golden age. One of the actors in there is a gentleman named Arthur Hausman, and who had starred in different films right after that. He was one of the most recognizable character actors in there. And if I could go back and pull up the picture of him in a moment, you might recognize him from Laurel and Hardy movies and so forth. But really, in a way, he turns out to be the first talkie comedian. And the premise of the story is a practical joke. It's really not too much to give away, but it was a practical joke he was playing on a friend in this film, that Jack, I believe. So when you see it, you see what's going on and all that. But overall, though, this film really, is a treasure. And it shows here. It says here that the film and several other Kinetophone titles restored by the Library of Congress made its modern debut at Capitol Fest, Rome, New York, on August 14th, 2016. And I came across this maybe a couple of years later on, but when I saw that, my mouth dropped, because I love those type of era films, those type of the silent films, the development of the films. And they're like a snapshot in time. It's like you could go back in time and see what everyone looked like. Because we might see pictures and paintings, and we're thinking, did people really look like that or move around stiff or anything? Well, we got to see that. And we also got to see, you get to see the people's reactions, when they first see a silent, a camera at that time on the street, and you look at, and they're giving you a reaction and so forth. But yet, um, that is where really this film is such a treasure. So, folks, without further ado, it may not show all the way, but for everyone here, thank you. Please hit and like and subscribe to my channel. And thank you again. My channel is still growing, and I will continue to do more projects like this and more things that will be interesting for everybody. So, folks, here is Jack's joke. Alright, what you see behind me here is called the kinetoscope. And again, it was one of the earlier inventions that Thomas Edison had. It was used in a thing called, Nickelodeons. And what that was, it shows that it was an exhibition device designed for films to be viewed by one person at a time through a peephole. And those were what you call peephole, peep shows. That's what they, where that came from. And was developed by Thomas Edison and his employee, William W.K.L. Dickson. And it was developed between 1889 and 1892. Now, they also created a thing called kinetograph, and it was a motion picture camera with rapid, intermittent, stop and go film movement, and so forth. But then they had another one called the kinetophone, and this is where our story and movie will take place. Now, this one here is where Thomas Edison created the kinetophone, and he created one earlier before that. But this one here in 1913, it shows that Edison finally introduced a new kinetophone, and like all of his sound film exhibition systems since the first mid 1890s, it used a cylinder phonograph, now connected to a projecting kinetoscope via a fishing line type belt and series of metal pulleys. It was met with early acclaim, but poorly trained operators had trouble keeping the picture in synchronization with sound, and like any other sound systems at that time, it did not solve the issues of amplification. And sadly, there was a fire at Edison's West Orange complex in 1914 and destroyed all of the company's kinetophone image and sound masters. The system was abandoned. Now, fortunately, though, there was a saving grace.
Oh, Miss Betty, I just saw Mr. Jack coming up the steps. Oh, dear. Well, tell him, tell him I'll return soon. Oh, Mr. Jack, Miss Beth has gone upstairs, and she will be down in a moment, sir.
Very well. Oh, come, buck up, old boy. What are you looking so blue about? Well, Detroit may be a bum town compared to New York. But of all the lonesome boys, this is the limit. 5 million strangers and you my only friend. Well, I came here for comfort and advice. Ah, my boy, what you need is society. Feminine society. Now, a nice, bright New York girl is your medicine. You get the girl, I'll do the rest. What a chance! See, I won't do a thing to him. By Jove, an idea just occurred to me. There's a girl that lives right here. Oh, but she's too good for you. A fine girl, good fellow and all that. But she's deaf, awfully deaf. You've got to yell your head off to make her hear you. And she yells right back because she can't hear herself talk. Not much chance for sweet nothing, huh? No, but she has merit. A world beater on the chafing beat. Why, her rarebit and spaghetti would make you leave home and mother. And my boy, she has a bundle of money. Why don't you marry this girl? Oh, I would. But she says that I'm too short. Stand up. By Jove, you're just about the right height. Besides, you're a good boy. Don't suppose you can hear her I come home late night. I should say not. Now, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go and get her, and then I'll leave the short business engagement and get out, and give you two a chance to get acquainted. Well, cut it short or I'll commit suicide. I'm lonesome. Gee, I wish I... Now, you hide in there, and when she comes out, I'll introduce you. Now, here's some cigarettes. Here's a match. Go yourself one. Yes, no suicide. I'll call you. Hello, sweetheart.
Hello, Dad. But why are you so late here?
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. But Nick Brown, an old chum of mine from Yale, is here. You know, he's a stranger in New York, poor fellow. He came here to have his ears operated on. And I thought you might entertain him while I keep the short business appointment.
Oh, but Dad, dear, I'm all alone. I just...
No difference, Dolly. Ned is a fine fellow, and I'll vouch for him. Poor boy. He's terribly afflicted. Deaf. Stone deaf. Well, you've got to yell your head off to make him hear you. And he talks so loud that all the neighbors will hear your conversation. Oh, come now. You can't refuse to help me and a poor old pal, can you?
Oh, well, Jack, dear, if you put it as charity, I suppose I must.
That's a good girl. Now, kiss your sweetheart. Mr. Brown! Miss Adams! Delighted, Miss Adams! Now, I'll leave you two together for a short time. Business, you know. This is very sudden, Miss Adams. Jack Wade, the worst practical joker I ever knew.
Yes, he is too fond of jokes.
You're very kind. Most people are so cold as strangers.
You like it better when you become acquainted. Have you seen any shows?
Every night.
I should think you would enjoy motion pictures.
Why?
Oh, I don't know. One does not have to hear.
I should think you'd prefer the pictures.
Oh, no. I prefer concerts.
Indeed. May I get 2 front row seats for Sousa's band?
For mercy's sake, Chris, what is all this about? This is a friend of Jack's who is as deaf as a doorknob. I'm yelling myself hoarse to make him hear. Mr. Brown, my aunt, Miss Lawrence.
Why, there's some misunderstanding here. I'm not the least bit hard of hearing. Am I to understand your niece is?
Oh,
Certainly not. I see. One of Jack's jokes. Can't he get even?
he'll be back in a minute. What can he do?
I know. He's going to the show. And not Sousa's band either. How about you, Miss Lockett?
Kindly excuse me. You go. I will remain to welcome Jack.
Now, don't be too hard on poor old Jack. Good evening. Hello. Where are you two going? To the Deaf and Dumb Asylum. Good night. Oh. Tongue.